we are kicking things off with a deep dive into the performances in Another Day. Adèle Exarchopoulos is shining as a functioning alcoholic and working actress in this film, navigating a complex world where she battles her addiction while trying to make it in Hollywood. We explore how Exarchopoulos captures the raw, messy reality of this character, showing us the intense struggle of someone trying to keep their life together amidst constant turmoil. Data showing how this legislation could displace thousands of long-term residents by encouraging high-density development. And finally, we look at the industry shakeup as Cate Blanchett reflects on the Me Too movement in Hollywood. Blanchett says the movement got killed very quickly, revealing systemic abuse across industries, and she discusses the crucial need for human consent in the age of AI. Stay with us as we wrap up this intense news cycle. The Hollywood Reporter has reviewed the film Another Day, Garance, praising Adèle Exarchopoulos' performance as a functioning alcoholic and working actress. Exarchopoulos delivers a memorable portrayal of a woman struggling with alcoholism, balancing the chaotic energy of a heavy drinker with the resilience of a performer. The film is noted for its honest depiction of a heroine who embraces inebriation as a coping mechanism. While the film channels the unhinged energy of Cassavetes' masterworks on alcoholism and acting, critics suggest the narrative occasionally becomes too loose-limbed, relying on histrionics. Exarchopoulos excels in portraying the subtle reality of being drunk, showing Garance's denial about her habits even as she navigates failed relationships and intense friendships. The story evolves as Garance meets Pauline, a contrasting theater scenographer, leading to a romance tested by life events, including the COVID lockdown. The film also incorporates a subplot involving Garance's sister, Charlotte, adding a layer of emotional weight. Despite moments where the narrative feels overly dramatic, the report highlights the film's genuine humor and the raw, messy moments that showcase Exarchopoulos' talent, ultimately concluding with a moving shift in the protagonist's demeanor as she begins to confront her struggles. A major new entertainment destination is set to ignite the summer scene in Aurora, Illinois. The newly constructed Hollywood Casino Aurora, a $360 million casino resort, is preparing for a dynamic summer live performance lineup ahead of its grand opening next month. The resort, strategically located along Farnsworth Avenue and Bilter Road, directly opposite the Chicago Premium Outlets Mall and near the Interstate 88 interchange, will replace the existing downtown casino and is scheduled to open its doors on June 24. Construction on the impressive venue has been ongoing since 2023. The summer concert series kicks off with a high-profile performance by multi-platinum trio X Ambassadors on July 11. This event signals the start of a diverse schedule featuring a range of musical and comedic talent. The lineup promises excitement, beginning with X Ambassadors, followed by a renowned band from the iconic 1970s Southern rock era and an internationally acclaimed stand-up comedian. Further performances are scheduled to keep the momentum going. Lit and Sponge are slated to perform on July 17, followed by the Marshall Tucker Band on August 28. The series will conclude with stand-up comedian Ben Bankas taking the stage on September 6, offering visitors a full slate of entertainment as the new resort celebrates its launch. West Hollywood residents are urgently calling on the City Council to intervene and protect low-density neighborhoods ahead of the July 1st deadline for Senate Bill 79. Residents argue that the legislation poses a direct threat to the city's diverse residential character by incentivizing developers to replace single-family homes and rent-stabilized units with high-density market-rate towers. Advocates highlighted the significant demographic concentration of these vulnerable properties. Data from the Rent Stabilization Division indicates that single-family properties and rent-stabilized units in duplexes account for approximately 3,800 to 4,000 residents, representing nearly 11% of West Hollywood's total population. This concentration, according to residents, makes these areas prime targets for development. Critics of the current regulatory framework contend that the city's definition of sensitive areas is too narrow. They stress that intact single-family streets and RSO duplex blocks are vital cultural and social assets that must be legally protected. The central proposed solution put forth by community advocates is the Transit-Oriented Development Alternative Plan, specifically Option 4, identified in the staff report. This plan is seen as the only viable legal mechanism to simultaneously safeguard homeowner investments and the security of rent-stabilized renters. Residents expressed deep concern over state-level replacement rules, noting that current mechanisms often fail to prevent permanent displacement, citing examples where demolished affordable units were replaced by market-rate housing at unaffordable rates. They are urging the council to vote in favor of Option 4 and formally designate these residential interiors as sensitive areas to steer density toward commercial corridors instead. Cate Blanchett addressed the trajectory of the Me Too movement in Hollywood at the Cannes Film Festival, asserting that it got killed very quickly. Speaking at the event, Blanchett highlighted the significance of the movement in exposing systemic abuse across various industries. She stated, "What the movement revealed is a systemic layer of abuse, not only in this industry but in all industries, and if you don't identify a problem, you can't solve the problem. If you shut that conversation down, you can't move on." Blanchett detailed the persistent imbalance of power on film sets, noting that despite her presence, the disparity remains stark, citing a ratio of 10 women to 75 men during her daily headcount. She described the effect of this homogeneity, observing that the constant jokes in such environments become monotonous and dull for everyone, impacting the overall work quality. Beyond industry critique, Blanchett engaged in broader political discussions. She expressed concern over the current state of film festivals as the sole venues for discussing global conflicts, such as the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, lamenting that these critical issues are not being adequately addressed publicly. She called for more honest dialogue in global parliaments seeking solutions to worldwide crises. Addressing the rise of artificial intelligence, Blanchett centered her primary concern on consent. She stressed that human consent must remain central to innovation, arguing that as AI becomes a powerful tool, it requires careful handling and respect. Blanchett concluded by finding the concept of homogeneity uninspiring, suggesting that true creativity emerges when diversity is embraced, questioning whether the pursuit of homogeneity is simply a cost-saving measure.